The topic of my live demo is replication and migration of files and objects in S3 buckets. Before I start the live demo, I want to give you a short overview of our new solution. But let me start with a few facts about PoINT software and systems. PoINT is an independent software vendor in terms of independence from storage vendors for data and storage management solutions founded in 1994. Our entire team, the product development, the support, sales, and pre-sales is located in Germany, in Siegen. And we have a lot of small customers who manage a few terabytes with our software solutions, but also very large customers with several petabytes. And we have a worldwide reseller network, and we work closely with the major storage vendors like NetApp, Dell EMC, IBM, or Claudian. As we all know, more and more companies choose S3 cloud or object storage. For some, the technology is quite new, and others already have already been using it for a long time. But all in all, it can be said that an increasing number of core applications are storing data on object storage. From the perspective of data management, the two major challenges with object storage are backup and migration. It is important to know, or it is important to mention here that I'm not talking about a traditional backup to an S3 storage, but about backup of the object storage. So customers are looking for a way to replicate objects to another technology, for example, to protect them in the event of an accidental or malicious deletion, because the high availability of an object storage provides no protection in this case. So in principle, cross-region replication, the CRR feature, can be a method, but it only applies to new objects, and not all object storages provides CRR. Regarding migration, the first question is how to move to a new object storage or to a different cloud provider. Maybe you've already tried a few migration tools, but unfortunately, many of them are unreliable, they require scripting, and it can be difficult if no professional support is offered. I mean, we are talking about large amounts of data and often very critical data. And then there is the issue of how to transfer legacy file system data into an object storage. With the new PoINT Data Replicator, we offer a software solution to replicate files to object and S3 to S3. So therefore, we address exactly the mentioned challenges. So the PoINT Data Replicator is a multi-threaded solution, and it works on Windows, Linux, and Mac OS as well. It is compatible to any S3 storage and CIFS and NFS source systems. The solution provides an intelligent change tracking. This means we have an internal database to quickly identify the changes to the previous run. And currently, we are working on support for S3 notifications that will enable us to provide a continuous replication. So an event on the source system triggers the replication by PoINT Data Replicator. Depending on your requirements, you can select to include the metadata, there is the custom metadata, the tags, access lists, and even the object log setting, if you like. And you can create a log with all objects transferred, or you can limit it to the failed only. And also the actual replication allows a filtering so that, for example, only objects starting from a certain date, from a specific date, are transferred. One use case for PoINT Data Replicator is the backup of an S3 object storage or an S3 cloud to tape. So in this case, we combine the replicator with our PoINT Archival Gateway. The Archival Gateway is an S3 object storage which stores data on tape. So, and if you have to restore something, you can easily access objects directly because of the native S3 API, or you can reverse the replication direction to recover an entire bucket. Yeah. And on the left side, you can see an abstract of the supported source systems. Source and target systems. The next use case is the S3 to S3 migration. So, for example, you want to move from one cloud to another, or you change the vendor of your on-prem object storage. But sometimes you will also have to do migration within the same storage system. So, for example, to change the protection scheme or the bucket configuration. And then there is the use case regarding moving files from a legacy file system to S3. So in this case, the data replicator groups the objects into pseudo folders, which is actually an object prefix. But this way, when you access the data with a graphical S3 client, it reflects the original file and folder structure, but now on the object storage. Okay, so yeah, and this leads me to my demo. So let me switch the shared application. Okay, so I'm going to show you the basic configuration and, as an example, the replication from Min.io to PoINT Archival Gateway. As I've already mentioned, you can install the replicator on Windows, Linux, or Mac OS. The configuration, including your source and target systems, the credentials, and so on, is stored in a JSON file. Yeah, and you either edit it manually yeah, or you can use our graphical interface. Yeah, it just depends on what you prefer. So let me open such a JSON file. Yeah. Okay, and here you can see some global settings like the number of threads, and you see below multiple tasks. A task consists of source and target systems, and yes, some parameters. Yeah, and later on you can execute these tasks individually. Yeah, but let me explain this in detail by using the graphical interface. Okay, so close this one here. Okay, so first of all, when you start the graphical configuration editor, we browse for the JSON file. In my case, it is this one here. And yeah, we can see the global parameters, global settings again. In most cases, you can keep the default settings as they are, but you can specify the path where the internal database is stored, and it is good to have it on a fast and secure disk. Yeah, and by setting the log level to a higher value, by default it is set to 0, you can generate a list of all transferred objects. Otherwise, only failed objects will be shown in the log. Yeah. And then there is the task section. So first of all, you enter an alias here, yeah, which is easier to remember than an ID. And you define the source, which can be a file system or S3 object storage. And you have to define the URL, of course, and the S3 credentials. It is pretty much the same with the target, but the type is S3 in any case. And yeah, finally, you can choose whether you want to replicate the metadata, the access lists, tags, object logs, and yeah, and as I've already mentioned, you can limit the objects to a specific time period. Okay. Yeah, and then after saving the configuration, you can start the actual replication process. In my case, on Windows, I execute the PDR command. So here's the PDR CMD command with the parameter config to specify the configuration file, the JSON file. And I will use the show parameter to get an information about the configured tasks. Okay, so we can see here the task 1. The alias is Mineo PAG. It hasn't been executed before, And yeah, before executing it, yeah, let me show you the initial situation in the source and target bucket. So I switch to this client here. So yeah, in this client here, we see the source system on the left side and the target on the right, which is empty. Yeah, okay. So let us now run the PDR with the copy parameter. Okay, so we see some statistics here, and yeah, the objects were replicated, and we can see the overall throughput here. So let me now refresh my S3 client, and we can see the target has been updated. Okay, so during the first run, the data replicator has built its internal database. So it is aware which objects has already been replicated. So it doesn't require a full scan and comparison with the next run. So let me add a new object to the source and yeah, start it again. Yes. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we can see the new object has been replicated to the target. So in total, we have 11 objects replicated. Okay, so yeah, this is the way how the replicator works. It is very easy to use, and yeah, there are a lot of use cases. On the one hand, it can be a one-time process, yeah, in the meaning of a migration, or on the other hand, a continuous replication for data backup. Yeah. Okay, I switch back to my presentation. Yeah, and the final slide gives you a short outlook about the upcoming features. We will have an advanced replication method, which is based on the S3 bucket notification. So this way we are aware of any object event on the source system, and we start the replication once a new object has been created. So, and yeah, this will have a huge benefit to reduce the RPO. And then there will be an enhanced service scheduling, and the entire administration will be web-based. Okay, yeah, that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. And yeah, now I would be glad to answer any questions you might have. So let me check if questions have come in. Okay, so here's the first one. Do you support one-to-many replications and many-to-one? Yeah, that is a good one. Yes, you can configure the same source within multiple jobs or multiple tasks. So this way we support one-to-many replication, but it is currently not written in parallel. Yeah, so it's in separate tasks. Okay, and you can write the same bucket. You can write into the same bucket from multiple sources if you want. Yeah, so many-to-one replication. You should just keep in mind possible conflicts if you have the same object ID in multiple source systems. Okay. Here's another question. What are the system requirements for the replicator? The requirements are very low. Yeah, we recommend a standard system with 4 CPU cores, 16 gig of RAM, and SSD to improve the database performance. And of course, the network interfaces should be fast, but it will run with less. Yeah. So the minimum requirements are 2 CPU cores and 1 gig of RAM. Yeah, this is a minimum. Okay, I don't see any more questions right now. If other questions come up or you are interested in testing our software solutions, just contact us by mail. Yeah, and again, thank you very much for your time and have a nice day. Bye.